What up, my man of society? It is your host with the most, Shadow Loke, back at you with another video. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. It's absolutely free. That is how you help my channel get into the algorithm. Highly appreciate if you go ahead and do that. Now, what I wanted to talk about today was, I was asked by one of my subscribers if I knew what Scientology was and what's my opinion on it. And yes, I am aware of Scientology. Now, what is Scientology for those who don't know what it is? Well, it has nothing to do with, like, the science field, right? So it has nothing to do with, like, it's not like biology or zoology or astrology or none of that, right? It's a religion, kind of, right? Well, it was a religion that was started by Aaron Hubbard, who was a fiction novelist, right? It was started roughly around 1954, roughly around there. I'm not too sure on the date, right? Don't quote me on that, but roughly around that time frame, right, is when it started. He started this religion, right, with a church and everything like that, right? Now, people tend to see it more like a cult group, right? I myself, like I said, I am not biased, right? Right here, I'm not religious at all either, right? So I don't believe in religion in general, right? So therefore, I have no horse in the race, right? So I can only give you my personal opinion and, my unbiased, thought on it, right? So when it comes to Scientology, it's a little bit complex, right, to understand, right, because the religion in itself is so different than what people are used to, right? Now, some people say it's a cult group because you have to sign a contract in order to join, right? And the contract in itself is kind of outrageous what it asks of its, I guess, its followers, right? Loyalty and secrecy and, money. It has money from them, so right off the bat it's already sounds a little bit off, right? Especially the person that runs the thing is called the almighty or all-knowing being, right? Which in itself is such an egotistical title to it, right? That already that in itself should set off a lot of red flags, right? Right, and they have different individuals have a different way of breaking down the history and the origin of what they believe in, right? So you have different stories of what they actually believe in, right? Like there's a story of a being named as Xenu, who 75 millions ago he was on a planet, and the planet froze, and he grabbed people, put them in this box, and he brought them to Earth and dropped them in a volcano, and then the volcano erupted, and these things came out of the boxes, and now when people are born, these things go into your body, essentially what is considered, I guess, the devil, right? And it's what makes people it's what makes these bad, thoughts come into your head, and it's essentially the evils of Earth, right? What people, greed and, jealousy and all of that, right? So it's kind of like the same concept, sort of, just in a different way of, Now, like I said, the founder, he was known for his fictional novels. He was in the Guinness Book World Record, right, for writing the most, novels, right? So he had a fan base already, right? People that loved his work, right? And some people actually believe his work, right? Even though they're fictional novels, right? A lot of conspiracy theorists, and all that, right? That's tends to draw that. But what brings a lot of people to their church and their following is that a lot of celebrities are a part of this church, right? A part of this, group. And that's one flaw that society has, especially nowadays, right? Because a lot of people take celebrities' word as gold, right? Like just because my favorite actor or rapper or singer or whatever says something, that it automatically makes it true, when these people are no different than anybody else in this planet. So they have their views, they have their errors. Just because they say something doesn't make it true, doesn't make it right, doesn't mean that it's facts. They're just humans just like the rest of us, right? They're not no more educated or more, woo, right? Just because they have a success in the film industry or the music industry or athletes, right? They're just like everybody else. So they're not, to say that they're the brightest or the most intelligent or the most, or they don't have any errors is ridiculous, bro. They're just like everybody else, no different. So they make mistakes, and some of them have dumb ways of thinking and make errors, and just like everybody else on this planet. If you don't know that person, you should never take that person's word as, gold, do your own research and do your own investigations. So a lot of these individuals are going to believe, just like there's people that believe conspiracy theories, these individuals are also going to believe, different stuff. They're all going to have their own different beliefs, right? So, but because a lot of celebrities are in this, right, it brought a lot of, a big group, right? Because, hey, my favorite celebrity wouldn't join something that's not real or not true, right? So, yeah, let me sign up for that too, right? In order to become a part of the thing, besides the contract, right, you have to go through this, where you confess of all your sins. They even have a device called what's that thing called, the e-meter or something like that, right? It's kind of like a lie detector, right? It detects if you're being truthful about your sins or something like that, right? Like I said, this religion tends to kind of like, it's kind of like different, right? When it comes to its overall beliefs, right? Like I said, some of the main things, some of the things that I have a problem with this religion, right? Is the almighty being, right? Just that title in itself says a lot, bro. Especially someone who's supposed to be preaching, who's supposed to bring you, one with your inner, soul, and, bring peace to you, and yada, 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 right? Somebody who has your best interest is not going to take your money and is not going to make you less than him, right? He's not going to be saying that he's more superior than the rest of you guys, right? Someone who's preaching, the good word and positivity and stuff like that, puts everyone equal to themselves, right? Because we are all the same when it comes to overall human beings, right? And he's not, if his best interest is to bring the best within you, he's not gonna look to get something out of you in order to bring you that, right? He should want to do it out of the generosity that's already within his own heart, right? Because if he just wants something from you, then there's a how can I say, then that's his motive, right? He has a motive to him, right? So there's a narrative he has to spin in order to get what he wants, right? So there's already deception there. And that's one of the things that I see wrong with a lot of religion, right? Not just this one, right? It's just that this one takes it to the extreme, right? Because of the contract and the secrecy, and it's kind of run like a militant dictator camp, right? Where people have even left this religion and have, came out with stories of abuse and all kinds of crazy stuff, right? That the church be doing. And I mean, nobody's surprised. I mean, if you try to rule with an iron fist, you cannot domesticate man. That's the mistake that every dictator makes, and everybody that tries to rule with an iron fist makes, right? You cannot domesticate human beings, right? So when you try to rule with an iron fist, it's only a matter of time before the people get tired of your shit and revoke against you, bro. And this being no different, right? So people have already came out and, said this and that. I mean, the fact that it was started by some person who wrote fictional novels should already have said a lot, right? I mean, he wrote fictional novels, so creating this story of this one being and everything, I mean, it should have been a walk in the park to him, right? But like I said, because he was well known and well famous and he has celebrities joining on board, it made it so easy for people to believe that, just on the simple fact that, hey, my favorite actor or singer or whatever, is a part of that. And, like I said, a lot of people believe conspiracy theories, and a lot of people believe in supernatural and want to be one with their souls. It sounds lovely, and I mean, it's no different than horoscopes and shit like that, right? So, I mean, yeah, you can see, and a lot of people do suffer from mental illness or psychotic episodes or psychotic breaks or psychosis in itself, right? Because of the overall stress that they deal with in life, right? So they want to be able to find answers for that, right? And I mean, some become so desperate that they'll believe anything, you know what I mean, at one point or another, right? Just to be able to kind of like bring peace to themselves, right? Even though potentially it could be somebody exploiting you, right? But as long as they're able to fool themselves into believing that they at least have peace, even though it's not real, at least temporarily to them, they'll be satisfied with that, right? Obviously the battle's not over. Obviously the war's not over, but at least they won the battle, and I guess they're satisfied with that until the war, continues back, right? So overall, my personal opinion is that I do not believe in its religional, truth to it. I do believe that it's a scam to get people's money. I do believe it's like a cult. But like I said, whatever people want to believe, I mean, that's their thing, not mine. You know what I mean? So like, if that's what makes them happy, then who am I? You know what I mean? I'm just giving my personal overall opinion on what I think of it, right? But not to steer anybody away from it, right? Yeah, bro, but it's a trippy thing, right? I mean, if you are looking to join this or whatever, I at least will, ask, for you to really think it through, right? And really, know what you're getting yourself into, and really just want to make sure that everything's A-okay before you make your leap. But if that's what makes you happy, then hey, I'm glad to hear that. And I wish you the best, right? These are just my opinions, that's all it is, right? So, don't make it true, don't make it law, right? Just my perspective. But what do you guys think? Have you guys heard of this religion? Let me know in the comments. If Shadow, we out.